Hello and welcome to TVC News this hour. We begin in Oyo State, where details have emerged from the Southwest meeting which happened among governors, 5 governors from Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Ekiti and Osun states. They agreed that every state must manage their forests and ensure adequate security within their states. They also called for some sort of remodeling to allow for feed mills within designated grazing areas. The governors agreed that they are totally against open grazing, and they said that the region borders are too porous, which caused foreign Fulani herdsmen into the state. They are also appealing that if the remodeling plan comes to pass, it will help in avoiding issues that would lead to farmers-herders crisis. Also from the meeting, they advised journalists to avoid the spread of fake news. Well, joining me to discuss and examine the security situation in the country is a security expert, Kabiru Adamu. It's good to have you join us on TVC News at 7. It's been a rather disturbing week for a lot of persons in Nigeria, from the north to the south to the east to the west. How dire is the situation, Oweri?
Very. Some have described the situation as on the brink of a civil war. As it were. Others have also indicated that it could prelude, conflict along ethnic and religious lines. Of course, that would be the same prelude to a civil war. So very, very worrisome, especially for a country that has, experienced almost 3 years of civil war. The same indicators that occurred before 1967, some of the same indicators that we're seeing at the moment. Divisions along ethnic lines, the failure of the criminal justice system to punish offenders, and unfortunately politicians, further exacerbating the situation by some of the unguarded statements that they are making.
The lingering conflict between herders and farmers has been rated 6 times deadlier than the Boko Haram insurgency. So looking at what the government's efforts has been like, we've seen the Western governors come up to a round table to discuss the security situation in the area. We've also seen some high-profile meetings between security operatives, that's from the NSA to the Chief of Army Staff, come up to see what they can do to, of course, nip in the bud the security situation that we're in. Do you think this is enough to quell the situation that we're in?
Those are all, engagement efforts, especially at that highest level. They are good, but I think there is an error that I would like to advise, especially the executive arm of government at that highest position. We need to distinguish between the 3 issues that are leading to the current tension within the country. Farmer-herder violence is one of them, and a lot has been done in that regard. The second one is banditry. They are different, and it's a mistake to lump all of them together. Then the third one is kidnap for ransom. Each of them requires solutions that sometimes can affect both or the 3 of them all, or sometimes unique solutions that will address each one. It would be a mistake, and I think unfortunately would continue to be affected by the challenge if we continue to lump all of them together and use names that unfortunately would not help us. So I think it's absolutely important that we understand we're dealing with 3 separate issues. I run a consultancy, and we've been monitoring this development for about 6 years now since it started, and I can tell you that there are 3 different issues, with sometimes the actors are the same and sometimes the actors are different. They come together sometimes, and then sometimes they are separate. So when you want to proper solutions, then you have to come up with solutions for each and every one of them. Now, having said that, when the Southwest governors met and came up with a position, of course, before then the Governors Forum met in Abuja and came up with their own position. And then before then, like you rightly mentioned, the presidency send out a delegation to Niger State after the kidnapping in Niger. So all those are very good developments. But like I said, they need to come together, and the best way for that to come together is to convene a National Security Council, an expanded National Security Council. The governors are not members of that council, but the president has the imperative under the constitutional provision that set up that council. The president can invite anyone that he feels is relevant to that council. So invite the governors into that council so that as leaders, they come up with a single position. That's what we need at the moment. There are too many disparate elements that are playing out and are affecting our unity. If they meet at that level, all the leaders, including the leadership of the National Assembly, the president should invite them to that council too. They discuss this thing and come out with a single position addressing these three issues. I'll quickly tell you that one of the major things that is required in terms of solution is to address weapons proliferation. None of these three things that I've mentioned is going on without weapons. And some of these weapons are actually military-grade weapons. So how do you retrieve these weapons from the hands of these non-state actors? We need a solution immediately to that. Some have put forward the need for an arms commission, a small and light weapons commission that would mop up these arms. Some have said no, the existing structures that we have, like the police, can do that. I am for the commission. I think we absolutely need that commission. Then drug addiction among, especially some of these non-state actors. They take drugs before they do all of these things. How do we address that? The NDLA has its task, sort out for it. Our porous borders that allow these weapons and drugs to come in, the customs and the immigration, they have their task cut out for them. So there are solutions out there, but like I said, the National Security Council needs to meet immediately to look at these three separate issues and put forward a united front so that Nigerians will see that united front and rally around it.
So you're saying that it could actually take us about 20 years, just like the former Chief of Army Staff said, to tackle insecurity? Very quickly.
No, I am not towing that line. Let's put his statement in context. He made that statement when he was being, as it were, attended by the National Assembly. Thank you for that. And I worry because this is the same person that told us a few weeks back that he has actually defeated the insurgents, and then now he's saying that it will take 20 years. While I agree with him that the only way to end terrorism is to take out their ability to influence the societies where they exist. It is not through military force alone, and I think that was what he was trying to say. So you need to improve the economy, reduce unemployment, build infrastructure, reduce the illiteracy rate in the region where the terrorism is affecting before you can end the insurgency. To that extent, I agree with him. But then to say it would take 20 years, I think that, especially from someone who has told us a few months back, that he has actually ended the insurgency, I think there's an element of dishonesty there.
Of course, we hope to see better days ahead. Security expert Kabiru Adamu, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on TVC News at 7.
Thank you for having me.